Hey everybody, I hope and pray that you're doing well. Today we come to our word from the word. And today that word is everything. Everything. Now, I must confess, out of all the Psalms, this is probably right there at the top of being one of my favorites. Psalm 139. And we're not even going to look at my favorite verse out of here today, but I love as you look through this when he says, right? You are fearfully and wonderfully made. But even as the psalmist is writing here, to think about, just to start thinking about God. And when we begin to elevate our thoughts to try to comprehend God, we fall short. And we're never going to be able to completely understand Him. But at the same time, I love how we can still know the unknowable God, right? We can't know Him fully, but we can know Him. And that's one of the most precious things that we do need to hold dear. But here today, as we read Psalm 139, I want us to look at the first 6 verses, and you'll see what David is even thinking. He's like, well, I just can't even imagine it. And so you can even kind of put yourself in his position as we read this today. Just the first 6 verses of Psalm 139. He says, O Lord, you have searched me and known me. You know my sitting down and my rising up. You understand my thought afar off. You comprehend my path and my lying down, and are acquainted with all my ways. For there is not a word on my tongue, but behold, O Lord, you know it altogether. You have hedged me behind and before, and laid your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me. It is high. I cannot attain it. He goes on in the verses that follow and says, where can I even go to escape you? It's not that he wanted to. He's just saying, God, you're all things. You're everywhere. We were just talking about it last night in Bible study, looking from Ephesians 4, that, it's the same God and Father of all, and he's through all. He's over all, he's through all, and he is in us all as believers. That same God that indwells us through the Holy Spirit of God is the same God that spoke everything into existence, and is the same God that is still maintaining everything in the universe at this moment. He's still in control. So we begin to think about everything that God does, God has done, and will continue to do. Those thoughts are too high for us. We begin to think about the fact that he already knew us when we were in our mother's wombs. He already knew how many days we were going to be here on this earth. He knows when your last breath here on earth is going to be. The things that we worry about and fret about all the time, he already knows every single detail. And you say, well, why would I even need to pray to a God like that? It's because he tells us to. He says, even though your Father knows you have need of, you still ask. The same way that as your children, as you know the things that they need, and there's those times when you're still teaching them and you say, I still want you to ask me, and I will gladly give it to you. But as he's thinking about everything that God knows, he says, God, you know when I get up, you know when I lie down. He says, you know the words that are on my tongue. And look, he knows the thought before the words are even formed on your tongue. When we begin to understand, just begin to understand what I like to say, just the fringes of God. You think about how much that should make us fall down and worship him. How much we realize how unworthy we really are. It really becomes amazing that we would ever have moments of pride and ever have moments where we would fall flat on our faces in sin. And the reason that we all do, is because it's in those moments where we're not looking to him. We're not looking to him for everything. We're looking to ourselves to fix it. And so if we know that he's in control of everything, but yet we don't take everything to him, as the old song says, right? Take everything to him in prayer. We can take him at his word that he is there for us at all times, that he is in control of all things, and that he knows all things. He's everything. Love the Old Testament when Moses is asking God when he's being called, and he says, well, who do I tell everybody sent me? He said, tell them I am sent you. And just to say I am, I love just that thought, I am. Because that's what God is. He's everything. He is everything. Let's not treat him as anything less. If you know that he's everything, and you know that he knows everything about you, then why not give him everything that you have? Give him everything in praise, everything in worship, every part of your life, everything. Yes, he may bless you with material things. And you say, well, am I supposed to give those things away? You need to have a heart that will give it away. Remember the rich young ruler? He went away sad because he had many possessions. He was too busy holding on to himself. You know, the funny thing is, when you've got a closed fist and you're holding on to something tight, you cannot receive what someone's trying to give you. Today, maybe God's trying to give you everything, and all he wants you to do is let go of everything you think you have. Today, trust the God of everything. God bless you, and I pray you have a great, great day.